question has always been, are we alone or not in this universe? So we're trying to answer that by finding places where life, as we know it, can exist.
Well, the quest for discovering life on other planets just took another interesting turn. Astronomers may have found the next Earth. No joke. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Appropriately, they started calling it the Goldilocks planet because, well, yes, conditions apparently just right to support life. Or for you Star Trek nerds out there, it's what they would call a Class M planet. You're looking at an artist rendition of the planet called Gliese 581G, and joining us now is Dr. John Grunsfeld, Deputy Director of the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore. They call it a habitable zone, Doctor. What does that mean?
Well, just as you said, it's the Goldilocks zone. If you have a star and planets orbiting that star, if you're too far away, it's too cold. If you're too close, it's too hot. And there's that zone in the middle where it's just the right temperature that liquid water can exist. And life as we know it requires liquid water. So that's the Goldilocks zone, the habitable zone for those planets.
And in this particular instance, how do they verify that that is what they have found?
So the planets are rotating the star, and they're watching the wobble of the star, just as if you had a toy that you were spinning around, ball on a string, your hand would wobble a little bit. So they've looked at the wobble of the star. That gives a characteristic signature that there are planets around it. And the most amazing thing about the discovery we just heard is that around Gliese 581 is not just a planet, but a whole solar system, one of which is in that right zone, the distance away from the star, and about the right size that it might be something kind of like Earth. Now, I hesitate because it's not just like Earth. We're pretty sure of that.
One of the things that one of my producers was telling me earlier today was that one of the ways it's unlike Earth is that it doesn't rotate, that one side of the planet is always as hot as all get out, and the other side it's always cold and dark. Is that correct?
That's right. If you look at our moon, we always see the same side of the moon. It rotates at just the right rate that we only see one side. It's called tidally locked. It just means that the gravity keeps it locked with our rotation rate. This planet around Gliese 581 is probably tidally locked around its star. So one side is probably very hot, the other side cold, and just in the middle is a temperature that's probably not too dissimilar from Earth.
So that's where we'll put the condos.
That's where we'll put the condos, the beachfront property, and the mountain property all at the same time.
Is there any evidence beyond the mathematics that you've just described and all of the analysis of actual life?
Not yet. But that's really the fascinating thing, is the fact that after 11 years of searching, we found a solar system that has a planet like this means that these kind of solar systems are probably very common. So that's the math. The next step is to have a telescope which can go and study one of those planets and see if we see any kind of signs of liquid water or of life. And in fact, NASA's building such a telescope. It's called the James Webb Space Telescope. So if we hang on a little bit longer, we might be able to answer the question.
And when you say common, I'm almost out of time, but when you say common, how many of these, from a speculative standpoint, could exist?
Well, we're talking about planets that are relatively close to us, and you know, this is one of hundreds of stars nearby which could host solar systems. And so literally, you know, there would be billions of planets like this in our galaxy.
Fantastic. If you said it with Carl Sagan's accent, it would have been even better. You made my day all the same, Doctor. A pleasure. Thank you so much. That does it for us. I am Dylan Radigan, and Hardball's up right now.